Hey everyone, this is your battle buddy Mac Fergus, bringing you this video about specialty license plates for Texas military awards. I'm going to talk to you about exactly what they are. I'm going to give you a peek behind the curtain to see how the sausage got made, and most importantly, I'm going to tell you how to get them. Little hint, probably to no one's surprise, it's a little bit of a hassle. But with my help, I'll get you through it. So let's do this. So I can already hear it right now. There's somebody out there saying, we already know about the Texas guard plates. You're not telling us anything new. Why are you wasting my time making a video? All right. I'm not talking about the Texas guard plates that we've had around since your grandmother was a private. I can also hear somebody else saying, yeah, Mac Fergus, we're aware that the state of Texas makes specialty plates with military medals on them. This also was not something new, and I would also like to know why you're wasting my time with this video talking to me about these specialty plates for the state of Texas with military medals on them. Those plates are federal medals from the United States military, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps. Might be Coast Guard medals in there too. I haven't looked in a while, but they're federal medals. And what I'm talking about is, as of the end of 2023, there's newly available military specialty plates for state of Texas awards. And how did this come to be, you may ask, or even if you don't, I'm going to answer. Did the devil lose a bet with a soldier down in Operation Lone Star? Did somebody in the Texas State Guard exchange some magic beans with that goblin that lives in the attic of Building 32? Did somebody out in West Texas make a wish upon a star that turned out just to be Tag's helicopter? No. Actually, it started with me asking nicely. But as most of you probably know, that alone usually gets you a whole lot of nothing. But nevertheless, that is how it began. So in August of 2022, it was time for me to renew my car registration, and I'll usually get one of the ones that I talked about earlier, one of the federal medals. And I was looking at the list to see if they had added anything new, and they hadn't added anything new in years. So I usually just go with my highest federal award that's on my DD-214. And I was thinking it would be cool to have some plates for the state of Texas medals, and I looked around the website to see how to suggest ideas for new plates, and I found the link to email the specialty plates section of the DMV, and I wrote in. I did my due diligence. I just didn't throw out a suggestion. You can see here I made a suggestion for 4 awards: the Lone Star Distinguished Service Medal, the Texas Outstanding Service Medal, the Texas Medal of Merit, and the Texas Homeland Defense Service Medal. And then at the bottom you can see attachments where I did mock-ups for each one so they could see what it would look like. I chose those 4 because I felt like they were the more prestigious of the Texas state medals, but if you're eagle-eyed, you'll notice I didn't include the very top ones. And the reason I didn't include the very top ones is I think they're so scarce that no one would sign up for it. For example, the Texas Legislative Medal of Honor, no one alive has that. Everyone who has been awarded that medal either was awarded posthumously or they've since passed away since they were awarded that medal. So that's one reason. The Texas Medal of Valor I didn't recommend also because it's been a long time since someone from Texas was awarded that. Another reason we really didn't need a license plate for that medal. Just too few people had it, and even the ones that did probably didn't even live in Texas anymore. And I sent this in. I don't know how many of you all had a similar experience in your early days in the service, but when I was coming up and I was a young private, it seemed like a common answer that NCOs would have if you had a complaint or a suggestion or some sort of thing was write your congressman. So I wasn't super surprised when my response to this email was write your congressman. And seeing how I'm much more obstinate in my old age than I was back in those days as a young private, I wrote my congressperson, and this is her. Valerie Swanson is my state representative. I wrote to her, and I'll be damned if she didn't agree and get back to me and say this was a great idea, and she had my back. The next step was for me to go to Austin and testify before the House Committee, which I did. And then it went to the full House for a vote.
The chair recognizes Ms. Swanson to explain House Bill 282.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill honors the Texas Military Department with specialty license plates. I move passage.
Members, you've heard the explanation of House Bill 282. Is there objection to consideration? Chair hears none. The chair lays out House Bill 282. The clerk will read the bill.
HB 282 by Swanson relating to the issuance of specialty license plates.
The question occurs on passage to engrossment of House Bill 282. Is there objection? The chair hears none. House Bill 282 is passed to engrossment.
After that, it went to the Senate for some very rigorous debate.
Chair lays out House Bill 282 on second reading. Secretary will read the caption.
House Bill 282.
Senator from Tarrant moves passage House Bill 282 to third reading. Is there objection? The chair hears none. The bill is passed to third reading. Senator from Tarrant moves the 3-day rule be suspended. The secretary will call the roll.
31 ayes,
Third
0
reading,
nays.
31 ayes and 0 nays. The rule is suspended. The chair lays out House Bill 282 in third reading. The secretary will read the caption.
House Bill 282.
Senator from Tarrant moves final passage to House Bill 282. The secretary will call the roll.
31 ayes,
Third reading,
0
31 ayes
nays.
and 0 nays. House Bill 282 is finally passed.
And afterwards, I can only assume, based on word on the street and rumor, it was signed by the governor. So now that House Bill 282 is the law of the land, we can move on to the next steps, getting the plates onto your car. The first bit is easy, going to myplates.com and picking out which plate you would like. The next two steps, unfortunately, not so easy, which is dealing with the DMV and dealing with the geniuses at the county clerk's offices. I'll tell you about all that and how to get through it. But first, let's focus on the easy bit. Myplates.com is where you'll navigate to. And then you can click View All Designs. And down here on the left is Military and Veterans. And you've probably already seen before all of these federal awards. To find the Texas ones, most of them are together if you scroll down to the T's. All right, and here we go. You may have noticed that I mentioned in the earlier part of the video that I recommended 4 awards. I found out later that another award was added to the bill, which is great, the Texas Superior Service, and I'll show you this one. This is the one that is directly above the Lone Star Distinguished Service Medal. I had no problem with it getting added to the bill. I didn't think that many people had it, but no problem. Let's add it. You will probably notice that for some reason they have the entire ring of the neck ribbon in the design. That comes from part of what I'm going to touch on with the DMV in a minute. And some of these you can try and personalize if you would like, but otherwise it's free if you don't personalize them. Another one that got added, and it wasn't added with House Bill 282, it was some other independent bill separate. I don't know why they didn't combine them, but I'm just happy that my bill went through, so I didn't ask too many questions. But I'll show you here the Texas Humanitarian Service. And you probably noticed here that it says Texas Humanitarian Service Medal as the title, and on the bottom of the plate it also says Texas Humanitarian Service Medal, but the picture is of a ribbon. So This takes us to the age-old question: is this a ribbon or is this a medal? And honestly, I'm gonna just do a whole separate video for that. We don't got time, but here it is. If you have orders for award for the Texas Humanitarian Service medal / ribbon, you can take a look at it here. I mentioned most of them are all together in the T's. Now, one of them is not. One of them is with the L's for Lone Star. All right, here in the L's is the one new one that's by itself, the Lone Star Distinguished Service Medal. One issue I keep foreshadowing issues with the DMV is that on the form that I'm about to show you, the Lone Star Distinguished Service Medal is called the Lone Star Distinguished Service Medal. But in the computer system, when you go to the county clerks to sign up for it, it's in there as the Texas Distinguished Service Medal. So I almost got turned away. Well, I almost got turned away a couple of times for a couple of reasons, but that was one of them. Was I was applying for the Lone Star Distinguished Service Medal, and it was in the computer as the Texas Distinguished Service Medal. And this one also, for some strange reason, includes the entire neck ribbon instead of focusing in on the medal itself. Texas does have a plate for the Medal of Honor, and it doesn't have the whole neck ring on it. Obviously, it just has a close-up on the metal part. So I am throughout this whole process, I continued to communicate with DMV about, after they said write your congressman, I let them know I did write my congresswoman, and I let them know that she did file House Bill 282, and I let them know when it passed the House, and I let them know when it passed the Senate, so we stayed up to date. Some of my advice, aside from I know some good designs to help you, looks like they ignored that and just went with the Wikipedia images and slapped them on there. But the other one was the form needs to really say all of the kinds of proof of eligibility that are acceptable. I mentioned that there was one time that I went to a county clerk's office to get a plate for an award that it wasn't on my DD 214, it was on my National Guard Form 22. And I had two people tell me that the National Guard Form 22 was not acceptable proof, and there was lots of drama and issues, and finally a third person came in and said, of course it is, absolutely it is. So with that experience under my belt, I was talking to the DMV about, you really got to put on the form that you can turn in National Guard Form 22 as evidence of these awards, or the awarding authorities' orders. And I explain this because the National Guard Form 22 is only given upon discharge. So active members of the Texas Army National Guard, active members of the Texas Air National Guard, active members of the Texas State Guard are only going to have orders for the awards or certificate. And the DMV assured me that it would be fine, that they put all of that in the information they sent out to the county clerks. I was skeptical, and another bit of foreshadowing. My skepticism was well justified. So anyway, here's how you can go and see the medals, what they look like. You can check and see if specialization you want is available. The next thing you have to do is get the correct form. And what you can do is go to txdmv.gov/forms. And then the form you're looking for, it's called VTR Victor Tango Romeo 139. So I'll just put in 139 here and then enter. And you'll scroll down and there it is. This used to be the form just for the Texas Guard plate, but they took that form for the Texas Guard plate and expanded it. Between me and you, I'll be honest with you, it is a giant mess, and I'll show you. So at first look, it seems all right. You'll put in all your information for you and your vehicle and such. Then, as you go along, you'll see this is the part where you get your commander or an officer in your chain of commander unit to sign off if you want the Texas Guard plate. And that probably looks familiar to a lot of folks. And then at the bottom is to where you can say if you want a specialty plate. And you can put in 36th Infantry Division or Texas Guard or one of the new medals. And you would type that name in here. So far, so good, right? You'll notice here at the bottom of page 1, it says page 1 of 2. Now, it gets bad on the second page. Because, first of all, it doesn't say page 2 of 2 or 2 of 3, it turns out. Also, for eligibility requirements, all it says for the medals is a member would need to provide a copy of their National Guard 22, which I told them repeatedly would not be the best thing to put. I mean, yes, if you have that, obviously, that would be great. I noticed this, and I did email DMV, and I pointed this out, and they told me, don't worry, it'll be fine. It was not fine. So it says that for all of these medals. And then on page 3, it says page 2 of 2. So in addition to the lack of saying that you can use award orders for medals, even though it does say it for the 36th Infantry Division part, it says letter from the awarding authority for a 36th Infantry Division plate. It's not in there. So I made the point that they need to renumber the pages anyway. Why not add just one sentence saying that orders for awards will work? And they said they would get on it, and it's been a couple of months and they have not been on it. So that's something you're gonna have to be mentally and emotionally prepared for, that you're gonna go to the Harris County Tax Office or the Travis County Tax Office or Dallas, wherever it is you are, and probably the geniuses there aren't going to be able to connect the dots, and you're probably going to have to talk to more than one person. What I had to do my first time, besides explain to somebody that these awards would not be on a DD-214, and eventually convince them why. And then I got to the next person, and they seemed to understand, surprisingly. That was my first vehicle, and I got a Texas Outstanding Service Medal plate put on that vehicle. And then I went for another vehicle, and that was where everything was just terrible. The first person told me I had the wrong stuff, and I would explain, or I would attempt to explain, but was rudely interrupted that no, I had the wrong forms. And what I had was the orders for the award. And called that person's supervisor. That person's supervisor, rather than listen to me, would just interrupt me constantly and explain that I needed to have a DD-214 to prove that I had this state of Texas medal. In the end, what I did was I asked them to call the DMV, and then I called the DMV also. And I'll give you the number for that, and I'll also put it in the description for the video. And I called the DMV Specialty Plates, got somebody on the phone, talked to them. They got somebody on the phone from DMV Specialty Plates. They talked to them, and wouldn't you know it, turned out I did have the right forms. So I was kind of in a bad mood because I guess I wasn't expecting it to be that terrible. So hopefully me letting you know that it's probably going to be that terrible, and you're probably going to have to talk to multiple people, and you probably will have to get the DMV on the phone, will make it a little easier for you. Supposedly, I did this at one of the Harris County clerk offices. I spoke to someone at the main county clerk's office, and they assured me that they were going to retrain everybody on these new awards. So hopefully it doesn't happen to anybody else in Harris County, but I am skeptical. All right, that's it. That's the long answer to the short questions of what are you talking about? How did this happen, and how do I get me one? So This is my first attempt at a YouTube video. My apologies for not being a professional voice actor or a professional graphic designer or videographer. I hope that if you have any more questions about State of Texas military awards, or you need to purchase any of those hard to find State of Texas military awards, I've got full size, I've got anodized, I've got miniatures, I've got ribbon yardage, I've got the devices, the little acorns, I've got the cactus devices, and I've even got miniatures of the acorns and the cactus devices. So if it's out there, I've probably got it. And if it's not, I might be able to help you get it. So anything you need as far as Texas military awards, remember your battle buddy, Mac Fergus, at www.macferg.us. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope I'll hear from everybody soon. If there was anything I said that wasn't 100% accurate, by all means, leave me a comment and I'll respond. And if anything gets updated since I posted this in the very beginning of 2024, again, please add that to the comments and everybody can stay up to date. Thanks again, y'all.